You are listening to the Estheticians Earning More podcast with Brady Hageman, episode number 148. Welcome to the Estheticians Earning More podcast. On this podcast, we talk about how to love your esthetician business without the hustle, exhaustion, or overwhelm as it booms into a successful business. I teach simple ways how to approach your business that gives you your life back while still growing a profitable business. I grew BLH Beauty in San Diego to a 6-figure business, and I learned a lot along the way, which I'm excited to share with you here. So let's get started. Do you want to make $100,000 revenue in your esthetician business? If so, I would love to show you how. I want to invite you to coach with me in my one-to-one coaching program. It's completely customizable. The way that it works is we sit down and figure out what you've been doing in your business that hasn't been working, and then make a very specific plan that I help you follow over the course of 6 months to get it done. We meet weekly for 30 minutes and discuss exactly what went well that week and we're going to do next week, whether it's your pricing needs to be raised, or you need to have boundaries with your clients, or if you need to learn how to sell skincare, or you need to niche down and you're doing way too many services and not making money, or all of the above. Whatever the issue is, whatever the reason is you're not making money, we'll figure it out together, and we will grow your business into a really profitable business that's sustainable, that you love, and that really helps people. I cannot wait to be your coach and to work with you. To learn more, go to the link in the show notes. And with that, on with today's episode. Happy Monday. Welcome back. I'm so excited to be back here with you today. Okay, today we're going to talk about difficult clients, and specifically how to deal with them. It can be kind of terrifying to have a difficult client. It can be kind of just so frustrating that you don't really know what to do. And so when I say a difficult client, this is what I'm kind of talking about. I'm talking about the client. I'm just laughing thinking about these scenarios. So these are things that I've personally experienced, from where I've had my clients or my friends that are estheticians experience. So if you hear a story that you've told me, you're welcome, or thank you. Really, thank you. But like, if you have a client that tells you they're going to be late and they're already like 15 minutes late, not like 2 minutes late, and then they get there and then they use the bathroom. So now it's like 25 minutes late for an hour appointment, right? Or you have a client who needs to cancel their appointment or reschedule for whatever reason, and they get frustrated with you that you don't have the openings that they're available, like, for them. Like, they had an appointment with you, they're like, hey, I can't make it anymore. And you're like, okay, no worries, like, let's reschedule. Here's a link to reschedule, which I hope you do. You're not back and forth with them 100 times. And they're like, I can't make any of those appointments, like exasperatedly frustrated with you. Maybe a client who you've told, I'm running out of products quickly, you need to let me know a heads up if you're needing more products, or make sure you buy them when you're in with me, because, I have limited hours and I'm not here all the time and I can't, get you products on days that I'm off or whatever, right? Like, I would leave products for clients when I was there with, like, the woman who sat in the front of, like, the salon suite that I was in. I was in the salon suite JC, and there's someone there during business hours. So I'd leave products with her. Her name was Vicky. She was lovely. And they would pick them up from her. But if I wasn't there, like, it was a day I wasn't working and they emailed me, they were working through products that day, right? So if they were, like, frustrated about that, like, they feel like, that's not okay, right? Like, so it's these types of difficult clients. I'm not really talking about, like, crazy clients, right? Like, people who do crazy things and say crazy things and, like, maybe verbally assault you. Like, those we just do not accept. We do not allow that behavior. We do not allow them to rebook. We do not allow them anything, right? But the client who, is a good client, and I'm putting that in air quotes, but, like, is a loyal client, comes regularly, tips, maybe they buy a lot of product, but they just have these qualities that kind of make you crazy. Okay. Right. Like they're late a lot. They reschedule last minute a lot, right? They do that. They want product when you are not open and then they're mad at you for not being open, right? So that, when I say difficult clients, I mean that type of client. How do we deal with these people? And how do we show up for ourselves and what do we tell ourselves? So I think the first step is what you're telling yourself about the person and about what it means about you. And then the last step is how to actually deal with them. So if someone is showing up late for whatever reason, whether they're chronically late or they legitimately, got out of work late and then there was traffic and then they, hadn't really stopped all day, didn't realize they had to pee, and then they get in and they're like, oh my gosh, I have to pee. And you're like, okay, like now it's been 25 minutes. That person is not a bad person. I think it's really important to see the situation for what it is. There's just a person that, whether or not they made choices or not, and we can go into the rabbit hole of like whether it was good choices or not, but I don't know if it's that helpful in the scenario. That person, they're not a bad person for being late. They're not a bad person for getting a product and not like having any awareness of it, and then they want product today and you're not open for 3 more days, right? Not a bad person. They're in their own world. One of my friends, one of my clients, Megan Wade, we'd always talk about, where I was coaching her, she was like, everyone's the star of their own show. And you know what? It's true. I'm the star of my own show. Even though I care deeply about my clients and my family, like I need to take care of myself, right? Like whatever's happening with me physically is what I'm thinking about, right? So the same goes for your client, like pulling back and looking at it from the lens of, this is a person who just had a bad day or whatever, and really separating them from their actions. Now, if this is a consistent thing, then definitely like the third step of this is going to be the boundary. And so that's definitely something you would for sure want to make sure you're really clear with them. But again, they are not wrong or bad for running out of product and not remembering. They're not wrong or bad if they're late. People are late and it's like totally out of their control. They are not wrong or bad for having something come up in their life and they had to reschedule their appointment with you and then be like super frustrated they can't see you. They love you. They want the service. Like, that doesn't make them a bad person. And we don't have to make them a bad person to make you feel okay with telling them no. And I think that's what we have in our brains, especially as children, is like right or wrong behavior, black or white. If you're wrong, then you're bad. And if you're right, then you're good. And if you do bad things, then you deserve it, right? Like, you were late and now you deserve it, and now like I'm gonna judge you, right? Like, you didn't you didn't realize you were running out of products and now now I'm mad about it, right? So like we start to really have black and white thinking about it, because I think it's also a human brain thing of protecting ourselves, and it's also how we've been programmed in our culture and as kids and adults and things like that. But we don't have to keep operating that way, because that is going to like really make the ups and downs bigger and lower. Like, I can't believe her. She's so late. Now she has to go to the bathroom. She's disrespecting me. She's not valuing my time. She doesn't care about me. None of those things are probably true. If they are true, okay, we just need to move on from that person. But if I had to guess, those are not true things. She's just doing her thing, whether that's just kind of the person she is, or she's just having a hard day. I don't know. But it's not helpful to demonize a client in that way. You don't have to demonize them to have a healthy boundary with them, right? A lot of this actually ties into a lot, and I've talked about this before, but parenting, like if a child does a bad thing, doesn't mean they're a bad child, or think that you don't want them to do doesn't mean they're a bad child. That just behavior is unacceptable, and to teach them that. But they're not an inherently bad person. And so that's step one, because that anger and frustration that you may have for them for like disrespecting you and not thinking you're worthy, interpreting their behavior as meaning something about you, if that's neutralized, if that is not a thing, if you're just like, oh, this is frustrating, but it's not an attack on me. It's not a disrespect on me. And maybe it is. Maybe it is. I'm not trying to gaslight you by saying this, but you can be like, oh no, we don't do that here without taking any of it. Right? Like, it's like, again, if we look like a little kid and a little kid like comes up to try to bite you and you're like, oh no, we don't, you can't bite me. I will not let you. Like, you hold them back and you like hold their hands back so they can't bite you. You're not like, well, that child disrespected me. I mean, maybe you would think that, but I wouldn't. I'd be like, that child's having a hard time. The child's like not, like, maybe needs more attention. They're having a hard time with communication. They're lashing out at people. I wouldn't necessarily think like, I met a child who tried to bite me. Like, that child doesn't value me as a person, right? Like, it's that child's thing. It's their thing. It's not me. I'm not the problem. It's not me, right? And so, again, if you can just be like, oh, this is something they're experiencing, and I get to tell them whether or not this is something we do here, it'll give you that space. Okay, so that's step one. Okay, so that's part one. Part one is not taking it personally that your client is behaving badly. We're not going to invent a word, right? We're not going to like make it mean anything about you, about their bad behavior. The second step, when you have a difficult client doing things that you don't love, is to see if there is a gap in your own communication about expectations around this. I do not mean go on your stories and rant about policies and how important it is not to like cancel, or how you're only one person and it's so hard to fit people in and you're really sorry that people are mad, or that you really need everyone to be on time. A reminder, like, I think there's a time and a place for putting it on stories and your grid, but not in a response to someone not doing it. But if you haven't communicated that, then definitely update it, but update it from a place of like, hey, I just want to make sure everyone knows this, not like anger. Because the anger can come across to other people who are like, oh, you should, like, obviously something happened. Why are they so mad? But it's not super professional. Point blank. That's all I have to say about that. So see if there's any gaps in your communication with your clients. Like, is it not on your website? Is it not on your booking site? Is it not crystal clear to them? They know they have to, the appointment starts at the appointment time, so they have to use the restroom, they need to come early, or they should come early, or, you know, whatever. When you sell them products, say like, I don't usually have every product on hand, so if you're running out, make sure you tell me. If they forget to do this, it's on them, it's not on you, even if they make it personal about you. That's when like the first step is like not taking it personal. They make it mean about you as a person, and it's really important to like pull out what really, if you could have done anything different in a situation. Sometimes the answer is you cannot. Sometimes you've already communicated it. They, click a checkbox. When they book the appointment, they know the no-show late policy. I still get no-shows. I'm just gonna say it, not I get out of like bitterness, but I still get no-shows for my discovery calls. It does happen, like probably once a month. And I have a box that people are supposed to check saying they agree if they're gonna not be able to make it, they'll let me know. Like they don't lose anything, they don't lose money, but sometimes people still don't show up. I had someone not show up a few weeks ago. So you have to just also remember that this is just life, right? Like you can have all of the policies and things in structure in your business and it's still going to happen and you still have to follow through as the business owner. And it just kind of sucks. I'm being sorry to say it. So then that's the second step, is to really just make sure that if there are gaps in communication and expectations, you just fill that in and you are kindly firm about them. Which leads to the third step. If you have difficult clients, you are the business owner. You have the ability at any point to bend the rules, right? You're allowed to be like, I'm not going to charge this person. This is a pass. They're late. They're never late. I'm still going to do the service. Like, you get to make the rules. But if you are not enforcing the policy regularly, it's like it's the norm. You have the policies and your clients are aware of them and they check the boxes and all the things, but they still break policies. Clients are still doing their client things that are difficult, and you don't pull the trigger on the boundary. That is the third and just as equally important step to this, is to actually tell them, I'm so sorry. We can't do the appointment. We don't have enough time. I understand you were late. It's out of your control. Your heart broke down. All the things that happen. And we still, can't do it. Or I know, I really wish I could fit you in my schedule. I love seeing you. You're such a great client. I literally don't have any room. And like, you don't have to say beyond that, like, you're not going to you're not going to work on your off days. You don't have to say that. You can just say, it's like, you don't have room and you're really sorry. If they insinuate or they directly ask for you to work on your off days, you can just say, I don't work on my off days anymore. It wasn't sustainable for my business and my life. End of story. So you really can hold that boundary. I'm going to tell you a story, personal life recently, that's making me a little bit crazy. I've been trying to find afternoon childcare since January. It's April. One of my friends who has a daughter, my daughter's age, and then a son who's just turned 1, we are working together to find like an afternoon nanny so we can pay them more. And essentially they can make more, is better, so the kids will be together. It'll be at her house. I want to have 3 kids in my house, making a lot of noise. I can work and talk to clients. It's a dream, right? Except every person we've tried to hire or interview don't show up for their interviews, don't show up for, everyone's been so unreliable and so awful. And so we hired someone, great phone interview, super great experience, loves kids. Okay, come your first day. Did not show up, did not answer text messages, didn't obviously message us. Totally no-showed us. And we would message her I hope you're okay. Because she did seem like a really genuine person. So something must have happened. Nothing. Hours go by. I go to care.com, which is the horrible. Now I hate this website. Everyone I get from them is horrible. So I'm not going to continue my membership after this month. I left her a scathing review, which is the boundary, right? You don't get to literally waste our time. And I say scathing review, I said I would never hire her again. We offered her a job and she didn't come. That's what I mean by scathing. I wasn't attacking her personally. I'm just very honest. It happened. And then half an hour later, she texts us and it's I was in a car accident this morning and I'm looking at my phone now and I'm okay, I'm really sorry. So if we go with this model, right? Okay, I'm not taking it personally. She didn't show up. Step 1, right? Step 2, I will look through, where did the communication go wrong? There was obviously no wrong communication, and by that quote marks, because she was in a car accident. So I'm going to now take that information into consideration and be I get it. You were in a car accident. No harm, no foul. Yeah, I get that. I'm not going to be mad. I'm not mad. Step 3, okay, and I was so when can you start to work? If you've been in a car accident, someone will tell you, you can't work for 2 weeks or whatever, right? Is there an injuries or something? Tell me the result of this car accident, right? Like crickets. The woman did not respond. This is like 3 days ago now. So, but that was me setting that boundary, being like, if you were in a car accident, I believe you now. I'm not taking it personal. You didn't show up. I believe these things do actually happen. Not as often as people like to make them as excuses. Okay, I'm with you. I believe you. You've been in a car accident. I'm so sorry that happened. How awful for you. How scary. When can you come to work? That is me holding the boundary. And if she genuinely was in a car accident and she genuinely wanted the job, like I think about the past when I've had jobs, I'd be like, I can come Wednesday. I can come a week from today. The doctor said 12 days. That means this date, like I really want this job. Please don't find someone else. Like I recognize that this seems really unreliable, but I promise you it was like this freak accident. I would be like bending over backwards to keep this job. And as the boundary holder, I'd be like, okay, I can accept that, right? I can accept that they genuinely had a car accident and they need a couple days to recover before they take care of something. Totally, no problem. Like, easy. But when you set the boundary, you really get to, people will show you what they want to do and who they are. And if you charge someone who's regularly late for an appointment and they like freak out and say they're not going to come with you again, you're like, yeah, okay, good. We're all on the same page here, right? Like you just can't behave that way here. I get it if it's like out of your control, and this is what we do here. If you charge someone who's a great client who like had a random bad day, was late, they're like, yeah, I totally get it. Please charge me. I've done it before. I've had to cancel lately. Please charge me. This came up and I can't, I can't change that. So I'm so sorry. Please charge me. Like, okay, we move on. No big deal, right? Like they charge me, life moves on. So you really get to see the kind of interaction you have with that person after you set that boundary, and then you can decide if you want to keep the relationship going. It's like a name. It never really ends. But none of it is personal. You are just being like, hey, this is what we do in this business. And if they want to do it too, amazing. Let's go. I'm so happy to have you as a client, even if things happen. Like this babysitter, I would have, if like she legitimately was in a car accident and like needed 2 weeks to recover, she'd be the best babysitter in the world. Next 2 weeks, great. Like she's better. She's ready to work. We're ready to pay her. Everyone wins, right? I have money. Please take it. Come take care of the children. Right? But it's clear that's not what she wants. I don't know what she wants. I don't really care. It's not about me. I don't really know why clients do the things they do sometimes. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. They are in their own world. They are the star of their own show. Who knows what's happening? It doesn't matter. We can just decide what we will take and what we won't. And things we want, we just won't take. It can be really hard to do that, but I promise you it's super freeing the better you get at it. And you can also just know that you handle the situation from a place of integrity and kindness. Like me. Like initially I was like, hey, this isn't okay. She didn't show up. If she had legitimately been in a car accident, legitimately like came and was like, yeah, that happened, I would totally take that review down, of course. But it's clear that it's not the case. Highly frustrating. That is it for today. I hope my example kind of made it a little clearer for you and encouraged you not to take crazy client behavior like personally and hold that boundary. This week on May 1st, which is a Wednesday, I'm having a very special podcast that is a personal podcast coming out. It's going to be over an hour, I think. And it's not super business related. So if it's not your jam, don't worry about it. Don't listen to it. Like no hard feelings here. But if you want to listen to it, I would love to hear what you think. So that is coming up in a few days if you're listening to this real time. And then of course, next Monday, I'll be back for a regular episode. Have a fantastic week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hey, if you like this podcast, please rate and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to. I cannot tell you how much that helps my podcast grow. So you can click 5 stars if you like it and you want to give me 5 stars. And please leave a review about telling me why you like it so that I can help other estheticians grow their business. Thank you so much.